Welcome everybody to the final Guinevere webinar, web conference or online event as you want to call it. We have some guest speakers online, we have participants online, and we are running what's known as a simulcast. Simulcast means that there are local participants here in Florence, and I'm very happy, delighted to introduce to you the project partners who have been gathered here together in Florence for the final project meeting. And if I can just turn around the webcam to introduce every one of you just by name. So here on my right hand side, this is Concetta Russo and Cabiria Greco, and they're both from EUL. And behind them standing is Andrea Benassi. And they're both, all three of them are here representing EUL, which is Indire and EUL as a project partner at the Università Linea. What's the short name for you? Anyway.
Italian University Line.
University Line, that I remember, yeah, exactly. But the first one, the I is?
International University.
No, it's Italy.
Italian University Line. That's the expression IUL. And IUL has been instrumental in developing the teacher training course, running the pilot tests, and now doing the teacher training course reporting. Thank you very much. And we have also to their left now the fantastic representatives of, that is in the middle, that is Mustafa Ilkan, and to his right is Irfan Simsek. And part of that team is Tuncer Can. Let me see, he's hiding behind the laptop. Tuncer Can, who is they are representing University of Istanbul. And University of Istanbul have been instrumental in the project with developing an app and being part of the initial theory of games design development, the guidelines. Actually, yesterday we established that they've had their intellectual input to the intellectual outputs of the projects in almost every one of them. So we're really, really happy about. And Mustafa is going to, well, Tuncer is going to present to us their main product and app, which was developed in the project, of which we're very, very, very proud of. And then we have here in our midst then Crystal Schneider, Silvia Benini, and Dr. Michael Thomas of the UCLAN, or representing UCLAN, University of Central Lancashire, project coordination and main part of the work being done in the theory of game design, research that has been taking place also, research on meta studies, on gamification, and numerous reports. I don't know when Silvia did actually all of this work. She must have done a few overtime hours there as well. So, and Crystal, who's done an amazing report, which is one of my most precious giveaways that I will talk about later on. Now, oh, I did forget. I'm sorry about this. Here, Marilena Leana Techular. Yeah, and she's part of the University of Istanbul team. Apologies, really my apologies, Marilena, that we missed you here. Now, here on the left, then in the middle of these two gentlemen, of Michael and Tuncer, is Nick Zwart, who is our main developer in the OpenSim, the Minecraft, and all of the online platforms that we've been using. He has done more than that. He has done something like developed a database for doing games analytics. He's developed a multiplayer game. He's been a major part in the game's development on the side of it. So thank you very much, Nick, for all of your hard work that you put into the project. And actually, I'm so proud to present these results. So let me, if I may, just start the PowerPoint to talk a little bit, for those who do not know Guinevere, about what Guinevere really is. So. So may I ask the online participants to, if you are able to see this now on the screen, the presentation, excellent. And also we would like to ask the online participants to let us know a little bit about your background. Have you known about Guinevere all this time? Have you been looking forward to us sharing the final results? In which field of professional background are you working in? So if you could type in the text chat just a one-liner of your professional backgrounds, that would be fantastic. I know we have amongst the audience one of the participants of the pilot project course, Alan Simpson, who's coming in from Japan. In Japan is about evening hours now. So I've been able to introduce those of the project partners, Michael Thomas, Tuncer Can, Letizia Shinganota unfortunately could not make it today. Myself, I'm Heike Philp. My company is called Let's Talk Online. I'm based in Brussels. My company is based in Brussels. I'm often in Germany at the moment. And I have been instrumental in actually initiating this project. And Guinevere is one of a series of 4 year-funded projects, Lancelot, Avalon, Camelot, and now Guinevere, all having to do with language learning in real time via the internet, in either virtual classroom technology, which was Lancelot, or virtual worlds, which was the main development in Avalon, Camelot, and Guinevere. And in Avalon, we learned how to teach in a virtual world. In Camelot, we learned how to create machinima in virtual worlds, and in, thank you very much, Vance, for your introduction. And now in Guinevere, we focused on games in virtual world. So this is our wonderful OpenSim island created by Nick Zwart. He did this. And the OpenSim regions, they're now spanning 4 regions, has been our main development area for also the teacher training course of the participants. I will only talk, if at all possible, 5 more minutes, because then I'm going to pass over the word to Nick, who will be presenting. It's his turn, I hope. It's not Tuncer first, I can't remember. Yeah, you first. Okay, Tuncer, sorry, and then Nick. Oh, Nick first. Apologies. So Nick will be presenting to us OpenSim in real time, and he will actually come here to the front and show the OpenSim regions that he's done. So I won't be talking much more about it. And so what I want to obviously mention is that the virtual worlds, thank you, Tuncer, the virtual worlds that we've been involved in is OpenSim, Minecraft, and Second Life. So we have chosen 3 different environments to develop games in, and over the last 2 years, this is what we've done. Let me show you some of the impressions of the 3 environments. Also tell you a little bit more about why we've chosen 3 and not just 1. Sometimes you would think 1 is enough. So this is the impression of our role-playing sim in OpenSim, one Carol Rainbow developed. Here Minecraft also, Carol's development, she has done a major part in Minecraft. She's actually worked her way through, I think, every single video tutorial online, I can imagine. And she's played endless amount of time. I'm saying played, because we spend time out of office hours in Minecraft, just playing, because sometimes this is the way to learn a game. Yeah. Here's a role-playing impression of Minecraft. And here I have an impression of Second Life. And this is truly what it looks like. The graphics are wonderful. And what is exceptional about Second Life is that you can also find a lot of, say, objects that allow for role-playing. Role-playing was a big part in Guinevere. But let me talk you through why we've chosen 3 environments. It's because they all target different age group of language learners. Minecraft being an age group that is in this, as it says here, from 6 to 9-year-olds. OpenSim is 10 to 15-year-olds, and Second Life is 16 plus. It's an adult sim, so it's mostly caters for adults. And this was the very reason why we've chosen 3 virtual environments and tried to learn Minecraft at length and become very familiar with OpenSim and Second Life. Oh, Lucia is online as well. Nice to see you, Lucia. Lucia is also a participant of the pilot. We hope you speak up afterwards. We have a guest speaker at the end. That's James York from Japan. He's coming in. And after James has spoken, we shortly listen to Vance Stevens, as he has a really nice introduction to an upcoming workshop on Minecraft. And afterwards, we hope to hear of some of you. Just if you could let us know, a little bit about what you experienced in the pilot course, that would be fantastic, Lucia. Lucia and also Alan Sims are both here, and I think
dari sananya berarti dari SCTV-nya.
So, you will leave us in 50 minutes. Sorry to hear this. Okay, no worries, but you've been here. Fantastic, thank you so much. So now, let me, after introducing Guinevere to you, and as I said, for 2 years, we spent in virtual environments. We learned how to create games. We created games for our future participants of the teacher training course. We got to know Minecraft. We studied game design at length. We created guidelines for language educators. And here are the giveaways to everybody online, but also the giveaways of the project to everyone who's interested. And I'm really proud, very proud to present those. Yeah, we have fantastic publications about to be published. Yeah, publications which is, we call them IOs, they're intellectual outputs. Yeah, and we have a total of 13 intellectual outputs of Guinevere. First one being a fantastic meta-study on gamification, theory of games design. Games design of global simulation, another awesome publication that looks and analyzes global scenarios. Sorry, global scenarios. I think I misspelled this one. Not global simulation, but global scenarios. Sorry about this. We have some reports of the past because there was some previous experience. There was, to me, one of the most outstanding reports or publications is the IO4, which is categorizing of games. Okay, sorry, we just have to mute a microphone somewhere because I'm getting some feedback. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. We didn't realize it. We thought it was the audio here in this room somehow. And this is why I muted late. Sorry about this. So I won't be speaking all that much longer because I'm very happy to pass over to Nick. But I would like to let you know that we have these IOs are publications, yeah? The guidelines for language teachers, with lots of recommendations, best practice. IO 6, 7, and 8, and 9, they have to do with, well, IO 6 is games, IO 7 is Minecraft, IO 8 is teacher training. So there's lots of other little, say, also very involved publications or reports. And IO 9, of which we're looking forward to hear in what I call the very special giveaways. And let me just allow, sorry, I was talking about the categorizing of games earlier, a document which was created by Crystal Schneider and which is absolutely genius, because if you want to know what a game in a virtual world is like, have a look through this report. She categorizes all the different types of games. Not only that, she also adds tables that with recommendations of what age group the game could be like, you know, or what language level or what language, you know, challenge, etc. Like, just really fantastic. And yeah, you cannot click on this link right now, but if you go to guinevereproject.eu, and then you will find in the main navigation called deliverables, yeah? That's Vance asking, where do we find these links? So guinevereproject.eu/ and it's in the main navigation, it's called deliverables. And there you will find links to the documents that have been published. Still a few missing, which will be added in the last couple of weeks of the project. We have the project officially until the end of this month. And I would like to turn your attention to the website also, where you find the webinar recordings. We have really, we've invited some fantastic experts on Minecraft, on game design. We learned about game rubrics. We learned about VR. It was a whole, really a range of webinars. So please check this out, they're fantastic recordings. And with that, I'm coming to my finish and I'm passing over to Nick because, as I said, these, well, main 3 special giveaways. So let me show you those ones, yeah. The special giveaways is the app called Gistory, will in a minute will be presented, then the self-study course. Oh, thank you, Vance, that's fantastic, sharing the link in text chat. And the IO 16, the teacher-led course, these are the very special giveaways. And now I'm passing over to Nick. Thank you very much. So it's still open. I hope I haven't closed your...
No, I didn't open it yet.
Oh, you haven't opened it. You're going Firestorm on that?
Yeah.
Okay, pass over to Nick.
Hello, this is Nick Zwart.
And I have to raise the webcam because he's taller.
Am I taller?
Yes.
I'm now loading the virtual environment, and as soon as it's loaded, I will show it on your screen. It's the Open Simulator world that we've created. And since I've got 15 minutes for this, I won't show everything because there are about 4 or 5 islands, and I'm going to show you the main island. But I have to first log in. And then I have to switch probably to, but I'm not sure because I never worked with Zoom.
I started.
Yes?
That's okay.
Would you please?
Sure.
And then you share your screen.
Share.
It's not Heike Philp.
You want to see yourself in the webcam?
No, I don't want to see myself in the webcam. I have seen myself
Oh,
already.
we see your screen. Fantastic.
Yes. So, yes, it's seen. You can see.
Great.
Okay, it's clear. Okay, well, as you can see, some things are still gray because it's loading the texture from the website. This is the first island that we've created. Is the Guinevere Island, and everybody that enters the virtual Guinevere world on Open Simulator will enter on this island, and I will zoom out to show you how it looks. And it's still loading some of the graphics. So there are several castles, and the first castle that you can see here is the castle where you can learn the basic things of working in a virtual world. So you can learn how to click on things, how to walk, how to fly, how to chat, and so on. So when an avatar, a new avatar arrives here, then of course you see the explanation in English about use the arrow keys on your keyboard. So, well, then you can walk. But you can also change the language of these signs here at the left. If I choose to use, for instance, Dutch, then it says here, hello, your language is changed to Dutch. And when I go back to the first sign, you see now this sign is changing into a Dutch sign. It's called lopen, which means walking. But for now, I will keep it in English. So all the signs that are in this building to help you do the basic stuff are in all these languages. Well, I have to get in. I'm going to knock on the door. Nobody opens. Or maybe I should use the bell. Yes. And now it opens. What I've gotten to say is that all your data will be stored when you are walking in this area, but you can also choose to not have, you can opt out. And if you want to opt out, normally when you arrive for the first time here, you will receive a pop-up screen. And on the pop-up screen, it will now hopefully appear. There it is. It explains about the privacy things that we have. You can also click to watch the privacy policies. And at the bottom, you can click opt in or opt out. And if you opt out, then there will be no data stored of your avatar. If you click on opt in, the data will be stored, of course. And I'm going to drop this. So. Oh, I dropped it on the floor. So my data is stored, so I will have a personal page. And if I click on this, go to your personal page, then I can open a special web page which shows the personal information about my avatar, what I've been doing here. And I've been doing several things. Or I have been doing a Bartle test, as you can see here. And I have been doing a quiz chair in the Exploria Castle where I scored a 10, of course. These things are stored in our database. And of course, all new things that we can build or you can build can be stored in the database. Let's go inside. Or, there we go. Click the bell again. There we are. And as you can see, there's an orientation. Follow the signs in this castle. This way you will learn all the skills that are needed. So this one is about communication. Let's switch to English. It automatically switches to the language that you have chosen as soon as your avatar approaches the sign. And here it says that I have to learn how to chat. So I go to the chat bar here at the bottom. I type anything. Hello. Okay, that's my first lesson. My second lesson is, so click on the nearby chat, that's a button at the bottom over here. So I can see that all the chats will be shown here at nearby chat. I close this again. Along the wall, we have all these instructions for people to do. And this way they learn the first stuff. Oh, we have a chatbot here. It's called Alice. And she talks English. So I can talk to her, ask where she lives. Oh, she's undefined. Yeah, why not? Of course. And when you have done the whole route, you call it route in English? You can go, you end over here at this small gate, and then you can go outside. But if you haven't done the Bartle test yet, and if you haven't done, this door won't open if you haven't done the Bartle test. The Bartle test is over here. And the Bartle test is just to see what kind of user you are, what kind of player you are. And as you have seen on my mine, I am a 40 points achiever. I am a very small destroyer. I'm really more of an explorer, as you can see, 36%. And I'm also a socializer. And this is done by clicking on the Bartle test. This will open a page again. There it is. And on this page, it asks me questions, and all I have to do is click on one of these. So which would I enjoy more, winning a duel or getting abstracted by a clan? Let's say this one, and it automatically switches, and it gives you about 40 or 50 questions. And at the end of these questions, but I won't do it again, then you will see the results of these Bartle tests in your personal HUD here, the dashboard. And this is my Bartle test. There's also a quiz chair in this building. And this quiz chair is one of the games that we've created. And so if I click on one of these seats, I'll be seated. And then it says, please wait, the questions are loading. And it's 10 questions, so it takes about 10 seconds to load. And then here you see at the right, the questions are loaded, and it's actually a multiple choice question. So in which castle Arthur was born is Tintagel. And if I click the right answer, you see my avatar is moving up 1 point. And then Morgana is Arthur's sister. That's correct. So and these 10 questions make me go up. So if you have a question wrong, you won't go down, you only will go up. And you see here a leaderboard or a scoreboard where you can see that I already had scored 10 points on this, and there are also some others. That's Heike Philp 9. And so I will stop this, stand up. You can play this game with 4 together. This means that you can have a little contest when you play with the others. These questions are loaded from a note card. So actually you can create your own note card as a teacher and put them in the quiz chair, and then it will read your questions and answers. So you can have everything you like in it. So let's go outside. Exit. Oh, there we go. Because outside we have another quest. And as you can see here, there are signs. Click here to view the content. I click on this sign, and then it will load some information from our database, which is a question that, of course, can be added or edited by the teacher also. Let's see, who is married to Lady Guinevere? It's King Arthur, it's D. And if I click the right, then you see a bridge appears, and also I have now still 14 seconds, 13 seconds to switch to the next to cross the bridge, because when this time is done, then the bridge will disappear. And okay. So this is a quest which will lead you to the main castle. And this quest does mean that you have to find clues. Here is an extra gate. And this gate will only open when let's see what the instructions are. Oh, it's not really loading because we have some network problems here. But it says something about a well. So I walked past the well, so I'm going back to the well. Let's have a run. What's with the well? Let's have a look inside the well. Oh, there's a paper in it. It says password. Try the password open. There we go. How simple is this? So I go to this gate and I click on it, and it says, oh no, you have to get a password. It's open. Now on this way, and I will now show you the rest of the path by zooming out. This way, you can go and walk all the way on the island to get some quests. Here is another bridge to appear, as you can see. And here is a small garden where Lady Guinevere's statue is. And also here there's a riddle on one of the signs. And then, so this is a way to show you how you can make a quest. All the signs that you see here are just Google pages, which you can adapt. So you can have your own quest, create your own quest, because at the back of these signs, I will show you. Of course, now you see Guinevere Island, but at the back of these quests, there is a little button that says set URL. And you can have your own page on it just by clicking on set URL. You paste in the URL here and then click on submit. And then this URL will be shown on this board. So you can create your own questions, and these boards can be used you can maybe take one of these boards in your inventory and then place it wherever you like to give students instructions. So it's quite simple to do. And I think my time is already almost done now. I already saw somebody shouting to me 5 minutes, and that's it. So here is the main island, as you can see, the main castle, and on the other side there is a village, which is also I think Italy, the school made a quest also on this part of the island, which is quite interesting. And in the main castle, there's also things to do, and to explore. And of course, if you look at the map, well, wait, we have more islands. We have the Guinevere Islands, but we also have an island where you can build and script and test things yourself. It's the Edificare Island, which is this one. And as you can see, it's filled with all kinds of stuff and games that are created already that you can try. And there is also this island over here. It's the movie studio island, which where you can create machinima, because there are a lot of decor or areas where you can use different buildings and stuff to create machinima. Well, that's in short about this virtual world. All these islands are also available in future, and they will be also in, I think they will be somewhere placed in.
Yes, we will move them to Kitely and also to Edmondo.
Okay, so they will be in Edmondo and also in Kitely. So if you have any questions, just let us know about this and we will help you. I will close this portal. Yes, and I give the microphone back to Heike.
Thank you very much. And thank you also to the online audience for, we are so proud of this OpenSim area that Nick has produced in such a fantastic way with a lot of features that are way beyond to what our expectations were. And so thank you very much, Nick, for your fantastic work. I'm going to pass over now to Tuncer, who will be presenting to us the app that was developed. A very special giveaway is again.
Screen share.
Oh, Nick was larger. He was bigger than me. Okay, passing over to Tuncer, who will be doing this from his own laptop. Yes, we see the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
My voice.
And I'm just switching off the audio here.
Start my stuff over, and I think, is it? Uh-oh. So perhaps I unmute myself. I speak here. And anyway. Does that work now? Is this okay? Okay. So.
No, it's fine.
It's fine? Okay. Okay then. So yeah, here we go. Well, this is the games used in engaging virtual environments for real-time language education, Guinevere project. And we will be talking about the Gistory app that we created based on the project. Let me start with a little bit of introduction of how and why we created this basically. And first of all, we know that the app that we created here was based on using multimedia materials like text, videos, audios, and also 2D or 3D animations as well. Because since we are in our project, we are using the three-dimensional worlds, the virtual worlds, we can also incorporate those into our app as in forms of videos or audios or images, so which is very convenient, and it is also doable. And our theory of creating this app was actually designed on the multimedia learning environments, which is also called the multimedia learning theory, and based on Meyer. Oh, okay, so now I can see that. Okay, that's fine. The multimedia learning theory is also in close relation with the cognitive load theory, because when you give people lots of information, then it's difficult to absorb all of that. But if you actually put it into chunks, when you put it into chewable, so to say, amounts, it's helping with the cognitive load, and it's helping the people to process all that information. In this context, we created this app. This app was also created on the premises of the universal design for learning, and we also leaned very closely on providing multiple means of engagement for students, not only course books, not only other, and not only course books and regular, as you know, materials, but then give them a mobile app that the teachers and students both can use, and then they can engage in a communication together. We also leaned on the principle of providing multiple means of representation, which is audios, videos, 3D, 2D, anything and everything can go into this app, and it's very easy. You don't even have to be an expert to be able to create, and I'll be showing you in a minute what are the functionalities basically. Then we also, in a language learning, what we need is, of course, multiple means of action and expression of the language, because we all know that language is not learned only by looking into grammar or vocabulary, but you have to put those into real use. So there has to be practice, and there has to be creativity in this process as well. So another theory that we leaned on in this project was the universal design for learning. The game mechanics that we used in this for this app that we created here was actually put forward by Werbach and Hunter, 2015, who were talking about the challenges, who were talking about the competition, changes, cooperation, feedback, resources, reward system, transactions, turns, and win states. However, to be just very frank, I need to say that it's very difficult to incorporate and put all these mechanics into one simple app, because it's impossible to create all of those things in the same environment. But of course, we had to pick up some of those. For example, we picked up the challenges in the forms of questions, in the forms of quests, like Nick showed us. We put the chances as part of the practice in the language, where the students are taking chances to answer questions based on the challenges that we created in the forms of chunks. And then also the students can actually cooperate here, as well as teachers can cooperate here, because students can be given task of creating their own gistories. This is how we call it. I'll come to this name in a little bit. And the students can work together as well to create their things, but the teachers can also work together to share what they have and the creations that they have. And here we use the intrinsic motivation, because task completion is more motivating than the external rewarding system, because we all know that language learning basically is continuous, and it requires intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic motivation. So we used these mechanics in the design of our own product. Like I said, multimedia learning theory, universal design principles, and all of that that we used so far in the thinking process, in the preparation process for our app. And we all know that the learner of foreign languages need to learn words, grammar, but also use them. So not only presentation of vocabulary, not only demonstration, but recall and application is required for the language learning. So vocabulary, grammar, reading and listening, and all the other skills are also incorporated here. We have not found a way to put a speaking skill yet, but perhaps in the future we might be able to do that as well. So let me start with the Gistory app. This is the splash screen. This is the first screen that we are actually having when the app opens, and it says Gistory. The GI here is actually standing for gamified interactive stories. So the teachers are able to create and use gamified interactive stories, because what we thought is giving chunks of language and then asking students to work on those chunks, like I said in the cognitive load theory, helps them actually absorb the information and recall the information better. So in the second, when you open the app after the splash screen, what you would have is the walkthrough of how to create a Gistory. So first of all, we are giving some information about what a Gistory is, and then how to create a Gistory, and then how to create the chunks. The chunks here are the steps, so to say, or the smaller steps where that you can put next to each other and then create a whole narrative. Because this is how it is in the, and we all know about the scenario, the script theory. So you have scripts, And in those scripts, every transaction happens in a smaller step, and then the whole thing is actually what we call communication. So basically, this is the idea that we used here. And after the walkthrough screens, what we have is the login and the register screen. It opens only once, and if you want to create your account here, you can do it very easily. But also you can use other means like a Google account if you have one, or Twitter, but we are not sure about that. Perhaps Google will be what we will be using. And after this screen, here is the main page screen, which is actually right now there, and you can actually use it. In a Gistory app, this is what you see, the featured Gistories. The featured Gistories are the Gistories that we are choosing for you. And so if you want to use them, just you can use them easily. They're already created. But also what you have is list of Gistories, which means you would have Gistories made by other people, and if you want to use them later, you can actually put them into your account, and then later you can make use of those. But in the list of Gistories, you're seeing what others have created. In the featured Gistory, this is what we have created. Okay, so the first picture is actually a Gistory about teaching present continuous tense. What you can do, you can have your a picture and then a question based on that. So what is he doing? And then reading or listening. You just basically clicking on a vocabulary, and when you click on he is reading, then you're free to go to the next chunk. This is how we call it. And in the next chunk it's what are they doing. So you see this is just practicing language of using present continuous. So what are they doing? This time they're playing but not reading. So when you're done with this, you can go to a longer a chunk where you have a longer text. So these are actually the first two are the warm-ups, and the warm-ups are as you see in vocabulary level, but then you have a textual level where you have a picture again to contextualize, and then read about Sare. Who is Sare? She's a member of this and that. This is what she's doing, blah, blah, blah. And then a question appears. And then after you read, a question appears. And then in the question, you're being asked a question where you have to make a sentence. What is she doing, let's say, or what is she doing right now? So she's playing good music, whatever. And in the last picture, the fourth picture that you're seeing, what you're seeing actually is a listening. So you can have the reading text in the form of a listening text. So you can ask your students to listen to something and then answer the questions or complete a sentence by using, or actually, but it's closed. Yeah. So basically what you can do is listen and then answer this question based on listening. And in the next screen that you're seeing, what you're seeing is the second Gistory. This is called Around the World in 80 Days. So this is a story that we all know, so you can gamify this story, and this is basically where the Gistories can work much better. Here we have the whole story in the form of a Gistory, and now I will present this. So are you ready for Around the World in 80 Days? Are you ready? Yes, here we go. We click on that, and what we have is the first context setting text where Mr. Phileas Fogg lived in blah, blah, blah. And then how should the story continue? And right now we have two options. How should the story continue? Mr. Phileas Fogg should find some company, or Mr. Phileas Fogg should find himself a job. So if you already read something about this, or know about this, or even you don't know anything about this, you can go into another, the next story, which is he should find some company, let's say. And then if he finds some company, this means passport 2, Hertz Street. Actually, there are other chunks in between. I just selected just to show you what we can do with the app. That's why it's a little bit not relational, but still you can see the functionalities. So you can have 2 options. You can have 3 options. You can have many options based on the text that you're using, or based on the stories that you're using, because this is all your creation, and you can go ahead with this. So basically, let's say that you went into this screen, and then you read, you look at this picture, you read this text, which is basically telling you about what does Passport 2 do next, because he's already taken, he's accepted to the job. So look around the house for valuables in the house. So if your servant does that, what happens to him if you choose this option as a student? So you go to the next screen, the next chunk basically, and the next chunk is about you look at a picture where he's actually arrested for looking valuables in the house. So this is not a rational story. So you should go back to the same chunk basically. And let's see, like if you look around the house to learn about his new job, yes, of course, this sounds more natural. But if you gather information about his new master, Mr. Fogg, this is again not what a good servant does, because they have to be secretive and stuff. So so you have another chunk where you're actually kicked out of the house. So basically this is how it works. So and then look around the house to learn about his new job. Passport 2 looks through that, you read the text, and then Mr. Fogg, what does Mr. Fogg do at 11:30 every day? Because now Passport 2 learned about his master, so leaves for the Reform Club, Mr. Fogg rests, blah, blah, blah. So if you choose leaves for the Reform Club, that's it, because this is the correct answer, and you go to the next chunk. In the next chunk, what you have is not a reading this time, a little bit of text to give you more language practice, but actually you can also add YouTube videos or any video that you have into the app. And then your students now, they have to watch a video or listen to the rest of the story, because 80 days around the world is a very well documented text. It has videos, it has audio, it has audio, books, everything. So we chose here to show you a YouTube movie clip from the I think Pierce Brosnan movie, and then you have to watch this for around I think 5 to 10 minutes, or perhaps even less if you prefer. And what happens is you have to watch the video and choose the sentence that summarizes the video best this time. So Mr. Fogg wants to give his friends £30,000, blah, blah, blah. So of course, if you can understand what happens in this video, this is what we want from you. So like you see so far, what we had was context, and then second we had text, and then we had choices, we had challenges. So everything that was in the theory, we try to put and have a functional app based on that. And let's say that you chose the best option, and then you go into the next chunk. And again, all the questions and chunks are about this text, about the story, and then you can have zillions of other chunks based on that. You can have other stories around that, and this and that. So basically, this is how the app works. So it's creative. It is allowing students to go around chunks to read, but like you see, it is not a text like in 50 pages or 100 pages, but it is broken into chunks, into small texts where the students can read, listen, watch, and all language practice can be given in more engaging way, a more motivating way, because they can also play around, they can go back, they can go forward, and this and that. So a lot of spend a lot of time on this app with language practice. And then this is not only our app is not only for English language learning, but you can customize this to any context. So one example here we have is teaching Spanish, a beginner level Spanish short story. So you can have any language like you want. So I want to show another functionality that we have in this app. So far we created. This is, we also can add definitions to vocabulary that we want to teach our students in a text. So for example, you see in the text, in the last picture, Mr. Phileas Fogg should find some company, and then the new servant said, blah, blah, blah. So what does servant mean? And then when you click on the servant, you can have the definition of the word, and you can have many definitions, many words you can select, and as you see there in different color, just for the students to notice, because noticing hypothesis in language acquisition is an important language acquisition theory. So we did this in different colors. This is basically, we are coming to the end of the presentation. So thank you. How about that?
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Tuncer. I can also just add to it a little bit that soon there will be some timer, or what is it? The timer
and a little bit of gamified.
The gamification elements.
And leaderboard.
Leaderboard. And we have seen the app in action. Can you stop sharing? We've seen the app in action and we've been very, very surprised. So I'm getting your mic. Can you mute? Okay, fantastic. Getting some echo. So we're continuing now. Not surprising if I listen to my own voice. So everybody, thank you very much. So we're continuing now. Can you stop sharing, Tuncer?
I think I did.
I saw, no, for some reason you're still seeing the screen. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. We now have also in our midst our guest speaker, James York from Japan. We will be able to listen to him in about 15 minutes. I'm afraid you will have to bear with me 15 minutes more, because I'm so happy to introduce to you another special giveaway of the Guinevere project, which is the teacher training that was developed. So allow me just to show this again on the slides. Oops, I've lost. Okay, here we go. So allow me to screen share again. Thank you very much. So this is where we are, and I hope to be able to show you everything live. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share the wonderful results. Just for briefly, in May this year, we've then went into the pilot of piloting the Guinevere self-study course, which is a 4-week self-study course, which has been developed, and it's freely accessible. Now, I mean, obviously, there's no longer any moderation, which was done in May, June last year. We had the course open for 2 months, sorry, and it's a self-study course admin, and it's a lot about game design. It also introduces the participants to all of the 3 different areas. I'll show that in a minute. But I would like to also still introduce then that for 5 weeks we did what's known as the teacher training, the teacher-led course. The teacher-led course was a 5-week pilot conducted with a total of like some 15 participants. In the beginning, not everybody really then was able to finish it, because it was unfortunately in a very busy school ending year time. So some started, and but the ones who finished they did outstandingly, and I'm very proud to present the results. But let me show you what it looks like, and you can sign up on this website. Which I think has to refresh. No, here it's coming. So excellent. Do you all see my screen, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Guinevere self-study course. There are actually the two of them. So here's the teacher-led course, here's the self-study course. Both of them are available. You can sign up on the web page still now at any given time. And I'm not sure how long it will be open. It depends on you, how long we have the Moodle here available. Definitely happy to have participated. So apologies, the self-study course, which I'm looking at right now, as I said, introduces you with video tutorials, with some of the readings of the Guinevere project, with some interesting, really general videos on what game design, all the elements you have to have, etc. It then goes week by week into each of the different environments that we've chosen. Here's Minecraft in module 3. Sorry, that was previous one, was the OpenSim one. OpenSim, then week 3, Minecraft. Week 4, sorry if I'm scrolling down a little bit fast, but you can see it for yourself if you like to join. It's free, yeah. The third module was Second Life, so a whole module, and there's lots of video tutorials built in here to familiarize yourself with even the most basic elements of when you join a virtual world. How do you make friends? How do you chat to somebody? How do you get dressed? How to, well, in Minecraft, for example, what do you do to survive the first 10 minutes of your life in Minecraft? It's very important, yeah? It's, the survival mode is really quite challenging in Minecraft, so it helps you with video tutorials created by Carol, who did a fantastic job in creating video tutorials on how to do the first wood, how to get your first stone, how to build your first shelter, how to then get food, which you need, and to build weapons. So awesome. And this is the self-study course, as I said, taken anytime by yourself. It's no longer moderated. We did moderate it, obviously, during the pilot. I think some 20 teachers, no, the final ones were like 10, 15 people got the certificate for completing the self-study course. The teacher-led course, we thought we had a beautiful group of some 25 students, and we gave them a choice. We said, in week 1, have a look at both Minecraft and Second Life and OpenSim. So we put Second Life and OpenSim together because they're very similar, technical in nature. Actually, OpenSim is based on Second Life's. It's the open source version of which, so they're almost identical, except for one is a different security issues. And so OpenSim and Second Life we put together, and Minecraft separately, and we said, look at both in week 1. So in week 1, we did an OpenSim session, introduction. We did a Minecraft OpenSim introduction. And then said, by the end of week 1, you will be well informed to make a choice of whether you want to choose Minecraft or OpenSim. And because we had some 20 odd participants sign up and ready to start, we felt like hopefully half of them sign up for Minecraft and the other half for OpenSim. But for some reason, we ended up with a lot more in OpenSim, Second Life, this part, than in Minecraft. So in Minecraft, we only eventually had 1 participant who started the course and finished it, and she did a most wonderful result. So here's the question. Yeah, Vance says, so we didn't expect that whatsoever, that there was so little interest in Minecraft, but it was not so much little interest. As I said, the timing of the pilot was in the middle of the busiest years of primary and secondary teachers. And I'm pretty sure that more would have taken one or the other if it was a different situation. We were happy with the participants, very happy, and we were able to conduct the pilot as planned, and we also have fantastic results to share, which I'm looking forward to. I just have to watch the time because we have James York. I did that mistake once already. I said James T. Kirk. No, it's James York. Sorry about this. So allow me just to check the time. 7 minutes left. Yes, they had to choose. Not had to, well, they chose. Okay, we had 12 participants in the end in the OpenSim Second Life course and 1 participant in the Minecraft course. We then went through the weeks in learning more and more about it, and 2 synchronous sessions each week was welcoming the participants in that environment. Then the first session, obviously a lot of instructions, but the second session was dedicated to building. So everybody had, from the second week onwards, a lot of practical work to be done. They then went through the different stages. I'm not sure whether you've noticed them. They start, sorry, I have to scroll up again. They start with discover. First was discover, then discourse. Discourse was all about role play, a big part in virtual worlds. Then design, so they were encouraged already to design their final game here from week 3. Then develop, here it was the major development phase, helping each other to do that. And in the last week it was deliver, so deliver your creation. And then we had the final show and tell. And let me show you, and I'm really, really proud, these wonderful results. Oops. Oh, seems like no. So what's the link you are showing when you get a moment? Yeah, it's the learn.guinevereproject.eu. Thanks, Vance, for these questions. Learn.guinevereproject.eu. I know in Zoom you cannot click on the link. And here are some of the final results. They're fantastic. The games that were developed in OpenSim, amongst others, was a map that was laid on the floor. And it was a regular map of England. And on top of the map, we saw these poles, these 3D poles. And when you walked into them, it would actually tell you the name of the city. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Vance. We had games like here on the top right-hand side, as you can see, the board game. And the objects had connections and links and scripted in that way. I mean, it has to do with scripting. The first one, by the way, was built in Blender. And it was not only a flat map, it was a 3D type of map and topographic map of England. So that was created in Blender by Lucia. I mean, we were stunned. This one here on the right-hand side, sorry, if I mark them, I should really go on full view. Am I stupid? Stupid, you cannot see it well. Apologies. So here on the right-hand side, this is a simple board game, but what happens is when you walk into the objects or click on the objects, you were given a lot of multimedia material in form of video, audio, etc. Sometimes it was, you heard it walking through it or walking into it, and it was a board game with dice where you had to then every so often not only follow the direction of the thing, but also jump on the board from one place to the other. Yeah, the bottom left-hand side was a treasure hunt type of 3D game, again, created in Blender or something. And here on the bottom right-hand side, one of the students created, that was our Turkish student, Elif, she created a wonderful mystery woodland of a maze. So there was a path, there was a maze thread, and at every corner of the maze, if you see these little objects, you would find and explore some of the objects that would give you clues perhaps on which way to go. Oh, absolutely awesome. We had script, and the scripting was just stunning that the students actually did a lot of scripting. Scripting of a mosaic type of game where you had cards laid on the floor, and when clicking on 2 cards that were the same, it would actually give you, yeah, well done. And then if they weren't the same, they would turn around again. How that was done, I mean, awesome. And Nick was one of the people who helped the participants with some scripting skills. But as I said, just the challenges that they imposed on themselves to create this. And here's a fantastic production by one of the participants in Japan. He created a simulation for a bank. Well, this is a bank, like the cashier, and you have to approach these are bots. Bots are human-like objects who at times they can talk to you, but at times they're just there to simulate the role play character of doing a conversation in a bank, you know, getting your statements and getting the, you know, every bit of the terminology to do with the bank. These were the fantastic productions, and here our participant in Minecraft who produced a quest that was not only in the very size or that the many different stages of the discovery of clues of how to go about, but it was also the story behind it was so impressive. I hope you can get to see it on the Minecraft server, on the Minecraft Guinevere server. You had to follow down underneath, and you had to discover the Dr. Moreau's secret, and actually she disappeared, and you were supposed to find where she is, and then you had to go into the laboratory, which was filled with really strange creatures and creepers, and if you fell in the pool, you got eaten up by sharks or by the squid or whatever. So it was actually dangerous to look around, and eventually to go through the portal of Nether into Nether, and where in Nether then you find the secret door where Dr. Moreau was then in form of a puppet standing there, and then so it took quite a while to go through that one. It was so enchanting, so clever, so, I mean, the building work behind it, stunning. So, I mean, we were impressed by the results, absolutely impressed. What can I say? I mean, these showcases, they show that the teachers were able to create games in the 5 weeks of this course. The games were in complexity and variations and ingenious design, really impressive. We're so grateful for the work that they put into this, and we hope that if the Guinevere teacher training course will then be offered to more people, that more of these fantastic results can be perhaps put together in kind of a games park in an OpenSim region where people can just go there, take their students and play the games, and let us know how they, you know, how they actually practically work. That we couldn't do. We couldn't actually test them out. We did, however, conduct months-long pilot tests with schools, primary schools, Italian, English schools, to see how the kids behave in these kind of environments, what kind of games they create themselves, Minecraft, for example, or in the case of OpenSim, we had a school, some 14, 15-year-olds who created a quest for Guinevere Island that in itself was, again, stunning as regards to the amount of scripting they put in, the amount of the storyboarding, the enigmas, the quest challenges that you have to find, and sometimes, you know, think about solutions, and the text descriptions that made you think of what could be the clue for the next step. Awesome, absolutely awesome. So thank you very much for listening to this, and we present all of this fantastic results of this project on the Guinevere website here now during the webinar, and we really hope that you take up and download all the documentation and let us know what you think of it. Give us feedback. The project officially closes in 2 weeks. but we continue the work that Guinevere's put in motion, and hope to be able to offer a lot of this to upcoming teachers who want to learn how to create games. With this, I'm concluding the official part of the session, and I'm happy to welcome James York from Japan, who will be, I'm just closing this now. Oh, by the way, I think I still had one more slide. No, that was the last time. Okay. With this, I'm happy to pass over to James York, who very, very early got involved in teaching in Minecraft. And he taught English initially to Japanese, and then found himself because he invited English native speakers into this virtual world to meet the local Japanese students. And then the project was finished, that was in motion, and he was left with a lot of English speakers in this environment who said, and now what? Now we want to learn Japanese. So this is the interesting background story to James York's development of the Kotoba miners. Sadly closed now, but it was Simmons, so he gave a TED talk on it in 2015, which is like really, really early the game. And we asked him, he's progressed a lot in this research, his personal research on game design. And we asked him to reflect for us this experience. James, I'm very happy that you're here. I hope you can switch on the webcam.
Yep, I'm in my pajamas.
Awesome, fantastic.
I hope that's not... It's it's just past 8 here. I've just been in the bath with the kids. So I am from Japan, but I'm originally from the UK. So hello everyone.
Very, very good. We keep the recording running, so if that's okay with you, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, do you want to start your slides? And
yeah, let's have a look at this, see if I can figure out how to share.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just share desktop. Open system preferences.
And I'm just so happy we've got participants listening here.
System preferences, allow me to do this, please.
It's if you click on share at the bottom of the screen in Zoom, the big green button, share.
Yep.
But you have to have your slides open already.
No, I see. It's just asking for I have to quit and restart because it's a security thing on Mac. It wants me to. I'll be right back.
Cheers. Thank you so much. So, and whom I've also invited, I'm really happy to say, is after James York's presentation, we will be listening to Vance Stevens briefly, because Vance is preparing for I believe it's the 4th Minecraft MOOC, an EVO session that runs regularly in January, February for 5 weeks, free of charge, workshop for English teachers. And is it the 4th one? Or is the 5th one, Vance?
Okay, right, we're looking
good. Some of it, very experienced. Oh, wonderful, we're seeing your screen.
Right,
James,
let me see if
awesome.
I can make
and just after you presented, we will listen to Vance tell us more about the Minecraft MOOC briefly, only 5 minutes.
This is really strange. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you want the presentation modus, right?
Okay, there we go.
Play.
If I do that, can you still...
Yeah, we see your screen. Fantastic.
You can see my screen. Okay, fantastic.
Lovely, but we don't see the webcam. No, oh yes, we see the webcam, sorry.
Okay.
I'm muting now.
Is this fine then? Am I set up okay?
Wow.
This setup is okay?
Yes, fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right, okay, hi everyone. I'll try to be as succinct as possible and get through this. I know you've had a busy meeting already, so thank you for inviting me to talk here today. So my experience teaching English and then Japanese in Minecraft via a project which I call Kotoba Miners, is what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, Kotoba Miners is a word, well, Kotoba means word in Japanese, so it's kind of like word miners. And I was teaching an international audience Japanese, as Heike just mentioned. I was originally teaching English, and then it switched to a Japanese learning school. So yeah, it's a Japanese learning school. And as she also mentioned, I have talked about this on YouTube for TEDx Tokyo teachers, and the links on there. And there's also links to the slide, to the whole of this presentation at the end, which I can share with you. So my background, very briefly, I am an assistant professor at TDU, which is Tokyo Denki University. So it's a science and tech university. And my research is on two topics mainly, which is the affordances of online virtual worlds for oral communication, which is what I did my PhD on. And I'm actually using analog games. So I use a lot of board games in my classroom as well. Oops. Okay, so the context that I generally find myself teaching in is with science and technology university students, quite low level, and about 30 students per class, which was not very useful for this project. To have 30 students all with a Minecraft account all logging in at the same time was quite unfeasible. So this was a kind of post, if you like, an extracurricular research activity for me, which I did with just general people online that wanted to learn Japanese. So an overview of the talk today is, I can perhaps skip some of this. I'm going to talk about what TBLT is, but I'm going to presume that as language teachers, we're quite familiar with this terminology. I wonder if I can see chat while I'm doing this, just in case there's any comments or anything. Chat, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can see chat now, but it's kind of in the way. All right, so yeah, it's super in the way. Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm going to talk very briefly about why I didn't choose an MMO for this project, and why I didn't choose social worlds for this project, which are Second Life and OpenSims and things like this. I just really want to move this chat box now. I've screwed myself. Okay, so MMOs. The reason I didn't choose MMOs is because of the complex in-game text, and the onboarding, the steep learning curve for using MMOs. It didn't strike me as something that I could use in a low-level Japanese teaching context. Sorry, I really can't see my slides. One sec. There, I need to move this guy out of the way, and then move these videos out of the way. Close the chat. Mute that. Okay, I'm good now. I apologize. Right, let's continue. The second one was the complex player discourse that you find in MMOs. I'm talking about things like AFK, GTG, Quest, jerking of the monkey, kind of, weird armor names and things like this. It's quite complex. So the other reason that I didn't choose an MMO for my world of choice was because of the complex player discourse. And finally, the fact that in an MMO, the content is predefined. And that means that educators have to actually adapt pre-existing tasks or quests to be used as language learning activities. What I'm saying here is then that Minecraft offers the potential for educators to create something from scratch without having to adopt or augment something that already exists, if that makes sense. So here's some screenshots of World of Warcraft, which I'm sure we all know about. Okay. And the reasons that I rejected social worlds were for these three reasons. I found that maybe this is something that you guys are super expert on, but to create content in a social world, you need quite a technical ability and expertise. For example, well, we'll get to a slide in a moment, but I found that the learning curve as an educator who wants to create something, which is what your whole course is about, it can be quite steep. which is why courses like yours exist. Whereas Minecraft was quite simple. I also felt that social worlds are kind of being underutilized, maybe because of the technical expertise required. So that, this is a quote from Duquette, but although it's easy to recreate tasks in a virtual world, there's maybe not really a point if you can already do it in the classroom. Your students will definitely not appreciate having to learn the intricacies of the virtual world, only to use it to do the same things they could do with a pen and paper in class. And this is something that I found quite common, quite rife in the literature on teaching with virtual worlds. So I wanted to have something that was, I wanted to use a virtual world because there was a purpose for it, because there was a need for it, not just to recreate tasks that they could do face to face. Finally, the GUI, as a student trying to learn how to navigate the GUI, that can be quite difficult. And I found that Minecraft was an extremely easy system of just a single hotbar and you hit things. It was very, very simple with a simple chat interface. So yeah, you guys are familiar with Second Life and designing things. And of course, there's a whole wiki on how to create content for Second Life. So in comes Minecraft. I'm presuming that I'm okay to keep going. If Heike wants to just pop in and say, yeah, James, you doing okay? Because I can't see any chat or videos or anything anymore. So things good?
Perfect.
I'll take that as a yes, thank you, brilliant. Okay, so this is Minecraft. I'm sure you're all very familiar with it. This is an activity that I created. This is a game actually. It's a board game called Spyfall, and I recreated it in Minecraft using wool blocks and signs, which is quite simple. A picture of Minecraft. This is from Hypixel, just to show the range of things and the complexity of items that can be created just from simple blocks. This is the Kotoba miners' classroom, if you like, the main tall building in the center here, that each floor is a different activity or a different teaching point. And around the main central white building are activities that I and students have created to practice the grammar points or to practice a particular conversation pattern based on the teaching from in the central building. So how did I use Minecraft to teach languages? I'm going to skip this whole section because I'm sure that we're all quite familiar with what TBLT is. You know, communication focused, a pre-task, a task, and a post-task. So there's a focus not just on fluency, but on accuracy at the pre and post levels. So yeah, let's skip this. So I don't want to run over time as well. Okay. In terms of pre-tasks, I will keep this in actually. In terms of pre-tasks, I would get students to watch native speakers doing a similar task. So I would record, you can see here, I would record native speakers doing an information gap activity and then use this as a model for the learners to then watch, and then they could then go into the task themselves and build something using language that they maybe picked up from watching the videos. And if you don't use videos, you can also use SoundCloud to record people doing activities and then use that as a listening activity. Okay, the task itself, you can see that there's a group of students here, and let's have a look at some tasks. Oh, this is a post-task activity, sorry. After the task, again, you're focusing on accuracy. So this was a directions activity where it was a fill the blanks based on a video that they'd seen before the task as well. Another post-task activity that you can do is to get students to write a journal about what they did in class today. And I have an example of 3 different game modes in Minecraft and how they can be used in different ways, if I'm okay to continue. Do I have any more time? How much time do I have left?
Another 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, I got plenty of time. I was really stressing. Whew, let's calm down. Okay, so as you know, Minecraft has three main gameplay styles: survival, creative, and adventure. Now, if we're thinking about the literature on game-based language teaching, we're perhaps familiar with Sykes and Reinhardt's taxonomy or classification of game-based language teaching, or game-based language learning. We have these three topics. Game enhanced is the use of vernacular games, off-the-shelf games. So, for example, the use of Call of Duty, the use of Gone Home, the use of Edith Finch. These are games that are not primarily designed for language teaching. Now, in Sykes and Reinhardt's vernacular, if you like, they call this game enhanced language teaching. So you're using a pre-existing game. Game-based language teaching is where an educator will create something specifically, create a game. This is what the Guinevere project would fall under, game-based language teaching, again, in terms of Sykes and Reinhardt's classification. So teachers creating games for the use of language teaching, that's game-based. And then game-informed is kind of gamification. That's a very simple way to say it. So it's the use of game mechanics in non-game environments. Now, in Minecraft, you can see at the top here, we have these three game modes, and survival, you could consider game enhanced because it's a game unto itself. The creative mode is game-based because the teacher can create something in that environment for the students to carry out. And adventure mode, again, a teacher can create something that the students carry out, which is, again, a game-based activity. Of course, there are overlaps between survival and creative and adventure, but in terms of a taxonomy, I just wanted to put that forward first. So what did I do in survival? So we all know that survival monsters spawn at night, you craft items, and you're always at death's door. When I made this slide, apparently there were 42 ways to die. There's probably many more now. So one very simple activity is to play the game together. It's the idea of social cultural learning and cooperative learning, where we would come together and we'd form small groups based on goals. So one group would have a particular goal, and then another group would have a different goal. Like maybe one group would be, we're going to try and find the mesa biome this play session. Or another group would be, we're going to build a farm this play session. And we'd go and play for 30 minutes to an hour using the second language, come back together, and we would debrief that play session. So there'd be an idea of, well, what did you do? And what language did you learn? What language did you use? What couldn't you say? So again, this idea of a post-task debriefing session was just very simple. And this is just some screenshots from our play sessions. This is when we found a portal area. And this is building a city together. So town development, creating the rules of the town, deciding who's going to harvest what for the town, how they're going to build the town. These are all activities that require language and can be done as a social cultural kind of inspired activity. This is another activity that I created where it might be hard to see here, but to the left of the main divide in the center of the room and to the right of the main divide, there's actually exactly the same blocks, exactly the same survival Minecraft world with items hidden inside. Now you can have a group of players going one side and a group of players going in the other side. And because they have access to the same resources on each side, they can then compare what they did after the play session. So, well, we decided to use the trees to do this, or we found this, did you find this also? You can see here, this is a book that I created, and it's in Japanese, but it says you'll get points for finding these things within the zone. So this was a teacher created activity, but it uses survival mode. And you have two groups in the same area with the same resources. They do an activity, they try to find these items, they come back after the play session and then compare their gameplay session. So in terms of language ability, you have the present tense while they're doing the activity, and then afterwards they can talk about it in the past tense. So the idea of that is then that they are reinforcing structures that they've already learned during the activity by talking about it in the past tense, which is why I also recommend journal writing. Okay, so that's survival mode. In creative mode, I got students to make buildings or shops that would be used in later activities. So I got them to design content for the world, for the course, for the class. And it was basically this structure that I went through. So the first part of the class was to plan the build, then make the build, and then use it somehow in a role-play activity, and then review it and think about what they learned. So very simple. The particular class I'm looking at here is each group of students. We had 4 groups of maybe 2 or 3 students, and they had to design a restaurant. So the planning stage is, okay, what kind of restaurant do we want? What do we want to sell? How do we want it to look? And this would be done in the classroom. Well, it could be done in the classroom on paper if you're physically together. But because we were doing it remotely, we would use online whiteboard tools to plan the build. Again, of course, using the second language, using Japanese. And as a teacher, you can give them concrete goals to hit. So you can say, okay, well, think about food, shop size, interior, exterior, menu. This is a kind of goal setting for them during the phase. This is an example from my English class, actually. So this is before the Japanese language teaching took off fully. So this is an example of a sushi restaurant that the Japanese students made. Yeah, of course, goldfish on the menu. We don't really eat goldfish out here. That's just a joke. And then this is an Italian restaurant, which they're selling syrup, apparently. Yeah, so of course, making the build. Now, the idea of making the build, I find that they don't use a lot of the L2 because they're all kind of working on their own part of the build. So you have to consider whether this is a good language learning activity or not. So it could be set for homework. And then there's a role play session. This is my bar. I created a bar. So why not? So we'd all visit each other's restaurants and we'd pretend to be customers, and yeah, it was good fun. Again, you can change the difficulty with teacher designed or designated goals. And for this activity, I created a complaints chest, not chest, what is it? It's a dispenser. So I made a book with a complaint in and put them all in a dispenser so that they'd be given out randomly. And then groups would have to use the complaint during their role play, which was quite funny. So the review phase, again, students can write journals, reflections, discuss any difficulties they have, or discuss improvements for the next time. So this is using survival mode as a teaching tool. Sorry, this is creative mode, sorry. Adventure mode, I didn't use a lot of, but I'm sure we're all aware of Planet Minecraft and their maps that are there. This one's particularly impressive. I use this a lot in my own teaching context, just for role playing and what is it, kind of directions activities and things like this. So yeah, these maps can be downloaded, booted up on a server as a separate world, and then students can go in and play the activities together. So briefly looking at some tasks for pairs, I think I've got about 2 minutes left. So yeah, remember to use the affordances of the virtual world. If you can do it in the classroom and you are teaching in a classroom, then maybe using a virtual world is not the best use of your time. So yeah, make sure that if you're using a virtual world, really go 100% on using everything that's in the virtual world. Pre and post task activities can be done face-to-face, or they can be done outside of the virtual world. You can do it on the whiteboards that I just mentioned. Don't rely on the virtual world for everything. As I've also mentioned, I augmented my classes with YouTube video watching and journal writing. Here's some activities. This is a room decoration task where you can see on the right side of the divide, there's a complete bedroom. And on the left side, it's empty. So one person will go on the right and tell the person on the left what they can see and what to build, where to place things. This is a preposition activity. This is a spot the difference activity where I've copy pasted a building and inside there are NPCs doing certain activities, and these NPCs were programmed to talk to the users and say, you know, oh, this beer's delicious and things like this. And the students would go one in each of these buildings, so it's a pair activity, and they would find which of these NPCs are in the same place or not. For example, this is player 1's view and this is player 2's view. So you can see that Nano-chan is in the same place, but Boss has been replaced with Biro Man here. So it's, oh, well, actually Biro Man is not there in my building, and you know, a very simple spot the difference activity. Again, I mentioned Broville and directions. That was an interesting activity. And this was Guess Who we did. We used the Citizens plugin and we skinned all the citizens, and we made a Guess Who activity. It was quite a lot of work. Simple true and false activity where if they get a question wrong, they fall into a lava pit using redstone. And we use the signs to put up words, vocabulary for the lesson. And that's it. So yeah, Minecraft is very useful. And you mentioned that Kotoba Miners doesn't exist anymore. I'm actually thinking of rebooting it for next year and seeing what I can do again. Now I've got my PhD and some time back on my hands. There's links to the slides up here if you want to take a screenshot or something, or I can copy it into chat. Let's copy it. Oops. I'll do that in a minute. My blog is Teaching with Games, teachingwith.games, HTTPS, teachingwith.games. You can contact me at jamesyorkjp@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter, and I'm also the co-editor of a journal, which we just launched, which is based on language. Ludic Language Pedagogy is the name of the journal. So ludic being games and play, language and literacy skills, and pedagogy in teaching. We're looking for articles and reviewers to submit their articles on anything they've done teaching with games, with a big emphasis on the teaching. And that's all from me. Phew. If you have any questions.
I actually asked the participants to write some questions to you in the text chat. This invitation is still open. Hope you can stay with us online answering these questions in text chat, if that's okay.
Yep.
Would you be great? Because
oh, right. Okay. Yes, I will stop my sharing and stuff now. And if you have any questions, I'll be in the chat.
Thank you so much, especially for this kind of really varied work that adds to our imagination of what you can do in Minecraft, even Japanese. Imagine
absolutely.
Eating a goldfish.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, James. Fantastic. We pass over briefly to Vance Stevens because Minecraft is just about to begin. So whilst the project is ending, we're looking forward to the next workshop session in January, February to learn more about Minecraft. Vance, do you want to switch on?
Yeah, keep things on here. Here we go. It's got dark here.
There you are.
So, okay, I've joined this room a couple of times, and let me see if in the other one, I'm Vance, Vance Stevens, and in the other room, there's Teacher Vance, who's my avatar. Let's just see what would happen if Teacher Vance tried to share a Minecraft screen. Let's just see what would happen. What is Teacher Vance up to over there? There we go. Okay. There we go. So this is just one of the places that we go in Minecraft. And
this is awesome.
I guess I should, yes?
This is awesome.
Okay, well, this is actually one of the places that is hosted by one of our moderators. It's a collection of teachers who meet every Monday for Minecraft Monday. And actually, I tried to go to our own server. And by the way, I've got 2 computers here and only 2 hands. So I'm trying to, and 2 mouses. So I'm trying to figure out how to navigate here. But anyway, I'm in creative mode right now. You can tell because if I go to see an inventory, you can see that I have everything I could possibly want. So this is a mode in Minecraft where you can fly. This is something that teachers met one Monday recently, and they built all these things and they connected them. I built this little thing down here just playing around in creative mode, and I built a stairway over to Dakota's place, Dakota Redstone. You know him, right? Anyway, this is the VSTE, which is Virginia. I can't really remember what VSTE stands for, but it's a group of teachers in Virginia. I can't remember what Guinevere stands for, or Avalon, or Lancelot, but I know they all stand for something. So I like the names. Okay, so I think I'm going to, it's because you told me I had 5 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, you
Yes.
did.
Okay, then I'm going to shut off this little play world over here. And okay, Teacher Vance, can you please give me back my screen, please? Teacher Vance is having a lot of fun over here. He's opening a window where he would allow himself to, oh, here we go. Stop share. Here we are. All right. Thank you, Teacher Vance. Okay.
Stop playing.
He's rather recalcitrant. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you in the remaining minute or two, if I can find it over here. Okay, here we go. So I've got Missions for Minecraft up over here. Missions for Minecraft is our wiki, because I guess I have to back up and say that we're an EVO session. That's Electronic Village Online. Hang on, I'm trying to find the share here on this screen. Here we go, there's a share. All right, so what am I sharing? I'm sharing this one over here. Okay, share, hit the share button. All right, so there we go. That's Missions for Minecraft, which is, you asked how many years we've done this. We're going into our 6th year now. And this is an Electronic Village Online session. That Electronic Village Online is a group of teachers who put together sessions really to teach themselves things. That's actually why we teach in this kind of environment, I think. And what I wanted to learn was how to use Minecraft for language learning. I really couldn't do it on my own, so I sort of got some other teachers to join me, and then they taught me how to play Minecraft. It was very nice of them. Over here, there's a sidebar. Let's see, what can you see over here? If I can get rid of this. I'm just like James. I've got to get rid of some windows on this side. Never mind. Okay, basically, in the sidebar, you can see what we do in EVO Minecraft MOOC, but you can also see, if I scroll down in the sidebar, you can see the archives. So from the 5 previous years we've been doing this, we have all the archives where if you want to see our live events, for example, in 2019, I just clicked on it. There we go. Let's see what will happen. Nothing. There we go. Something's coming up. All right. So these are the live events that we had. Most of them are recorded. I'm sure it'll happen upon a recording. Here we go. No, that's not a recording. Anyway, there are. You saw there were a lot of them listed there. Some of them are just blogged, but some of them are recordings. This is a map of our world. It's a dynamic map. You know, I don't know, how long do you want me to talk about this?
You have a total of 5 minutes.
Okay, I've
not a 5
lost
minutes for each section.
Yes, no, okay, I'm fine. I mean, I've just, you asked me to come in and talk about it. It would be hard to do it in 5 hours or 50 minutes, or I've given plenaries on the topic. So, you know, basically, though, I should say that you can come and join us if you want. You can join Electronic Village Online. It's free, kind of like Heike's learn.guinevere.eu project. And if you want to join us, you go to EVO sessions, or you can come to Missions for Minecraft. Well, actually, you could go to minecraftmooc.org. Minecraftmooc.org is the easiest way to do it. When I get a thumb free, I'll type that into the text chat. So minecraftmooc.org will tell you what we're doing. You're more than welcome to join us. The EVO sessions start in January. They happen January and February. Actually, you can see the calendar here. They're patterned after Dave Cormier's characterization of how you succeed in a MOOC. You go to a MOOC in Orient, and then you declare what you're doing there, then you network with other people, and then you cluster with like-minded people, and eventually you focus. We happen to have 5 weeks for this session, so I've sort of given each week an emphasis on one of those things. Welcome to join us. And thank you very much. I won't take more time. Very impressed with what James was doing, by the way. What's happened? We've gone dead.
No, we don't go dead.
Oh, okay. Or I have more time.
I asked James in chat to give us also his TED Talk link on YouTube, which is very impressive. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Vance. We're looking forward to joining you on Mondays. Every Monday, what time, roughly? Oh,
it's the first Monday of every month, and that's Kim Harrison's. She's one of the EVO Minecraft MOOC moderators. So is Heike. Heike is an EVO Minecraft MOOC moderator, and that's something that she has. The events will be at minecraftmooc.org, so you can go there if you want to find out, or at learning2gether.net. That's I can put these links. I'll put these links in the text chat. I announce them at Learning2gether, but for us, for our Minecraft group, when the EVO sessions start in January and February, then you can go to evosessions.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. Hard to do, to think, engage, and also do hands and talk at the same time. And also I'm chewing gum. So kidding about the gum.
And
but
from James, is Jeff Kuhn still part of the moderator team this year? Well,
yeah, he is officially on the moderator team. We've sort of moved, after 5 years, we've moved some of the people to emeritus status. And I think if they're sort of off to one side, or they participated and they stopped doing that, but people tend to come back also, so we don't like to discard people just because they're busy this year. So Jeff is receiving our mails. He's engaged with our group to an extent, but not so much as before. But he was one of the guiding lights in our effort. He's probably the person who taught me Minecraft, along with his colleague Aaron Schwartz and other people at well, everybody in the group. I can't name names because there are too many of them. I'm going to start typing in the text chat.
And I just asked the project partners whether they have any questions to James or you for the moment. And I have a question to James. Why don't you continue to teach Japanese? I would love to learn Japanese in Minecraft.
Shall I voice this one?
Yes, please do.
I got burnt out on it, really. I got really burnt out on it around 2015, 16. And at that time I was deep in my PhD studies as well, and that wasn't really going anywhere. So I had to knock something on the head, and I decided that that one had to go. But now, talking to all you guys and learning about these MOOCs and things, and looking at what I did, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should reboot it. And I've been chatting to my friends on Discord today about it. So yeah, maybe watch this space.
One of our moderators, we have several moderators whose children play Minecraft, and one of them is learning Japanese. So I told him, hey, he's got to go check out this Kotoba Miners, because you know, we've been actually Facebooking about you and your group, and then Heike says, oh, I'm having James on tonight, and then here I am, and she's invited us both here. So yeah, so anyway, yeah, there's a guy, we actually got him, a kid about 15 years old or less, and wants to learn Japanese. So
well, I'll keep him in mind for January when we reboot, if we reboot in January. But yeah, thank you for the information.
Okay,
I just mentioned that I've read your paper with Jeff Kuhn, which is why I was asking, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good paper.
Yeah, well, that was.
We hear that we made new connections to Japan, and we're very happy to Vance for all his dedication about running the EVO sessions, of which I'm a moderator. Okay, we're also running another V languages EVO sessions, so I'll be split in on 2 chairs. Thank you very much, everyone. Yes, Vance rightly asked for what does Guinevere stand for, and this will be my final concluding talk here.
Can you remember?
Yeah, good one. Guinevere stands for games used in engaging virtual environments for real-time language education. And Guinevere is, as I said, in a series of 4-year funded projects, which I've been running since 2005. The first one was Lancelot, called Language Learning with Certified Live Online Teachers. The second one was Avalon, and I must admit, I tried to stay with my acronyms. Avalon stood for Access to Virtual and Action Learning Live Online, and it was still at the time so early, and people had problems accessing these virtual worlds because of the sheer, you know, the computer power that you needed back then. A bit like VR today, yeah? Avalon was so access to virtual and action learning live online. Then came Camelot, and I'm so proud that the project coordinator of Camelot also was the project coordinator of Guinevere. Dr. Michael Thomas has been the most precious coordinator of all times. We really, really had one of the best ones around. We're so happy
Camelot stand for?
that he did. Yeah, it's now the 4th year. I think he's now finally fed up with us because of the sheer work he had with us. He was wonderful in actually getting the project results to such a fantastic high quality standard. I'm really very sad that Brexit may be the very cause that why we could have nearly, you know, it was the end of the project was on a par one, like, okay, but maybe hopefully we can see him in future projects also too. I'm very, very sad to say goodbye here in this one. And now I still needed to mention Camelot. Camelot is creating machinima for now it loses me. Language creating machinima for live online language teaching and learning. That was the acronym. So it was machinima. It was recording the screen of these virtual environments. That was so creating machinima was part of the 2-year project that we did with Michael also.
And Lancelot, you have to complete it with Lancelot.
So
Lancelot.
Lancelot.
What does that stand for?
Language learning with certified live online teachers. That was still the best acronym. It was bad afterwards then. So Lancelot, Avalon, Guinevere now, Camelot, and we have the virtual roundtable. And soon to come, Dagonet.shop. Dagonet was the jester of King Arthur. There's more to come. Thank you so much. I'll now be concluding the meeting. And it's been a delight to have you all. It's been most precious for me to be able to record the final project results. And thank you very much.
Thank you.